when you start to get in survival mode in your marriage, guess who can feel it? Your spouse. And if you're a man in polygyny and you feel like you're just surviving polygyny, your wives feel like you're in survival mode. You'll still get complaints, you'll still get backlash, heartache, heartbreak. You might get a couple hugs in between. Who knows? But you still feel it and they feel it as well because we're connected and we're people. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, in this video, I want to tackle another popular topic. A lot of initial wives and subsequent wives ask themselves this question. I've noticed oftentimes it will come up in their day-to-day. It'll come up when they least expect it. And it is polygyny, you versus them. Them being your husband and your co-wife. Now, the reason that this video is important is because culturally, societal norms, cultural or societal norms, or maybe both, would have a wife to think that there must be sides chosen. There must be a division created. There's gotta be. Because if there's no division, it doesn't make sense, because division feels good when you're hurting. Division feels triumphant when you want to be a victim, or if you think someone is abusing or victimizing you. Now, there are instances where there is abuse. It's very serious. There's instances where people have been victimized or slandered or treated harshly in polygyny, and we're not going to act like that's not happening. But for those of us that have experienced the division that is created because of societal and cultural norms, we have to talk about these things. Creating distance isn't always a bad thing. However, when we're with our husbands and they're trying so very hard, distance doesn't serve the relationship. And it's not a you versus them thing, because then we're picking teams. Because your husband definitely, if he's healthy, mind, body, and soul, and he has a good, healthy heart, and he's practicing compassion and patience, because it's not easy. He's not thinking about teams. He's not thinking about wife 1 team, wife 2 team, 3 or 4, especially if you're Muslim. He's not creating division. He's not thinking about dividing his family. He wants to bring his family together. And people will say, well, how is that? And he got another wife. It's not about division. It's about expansion of. And once we become familiar with that practice, once we become more comfortable with talking about polygyny, then we won't think automatically about division. We'll think about expansion. Now, I've seen people rejoice at expansion in different areas, whether they're expanding a wing of a hospital, whether they are adding to their family in monogamy with the birth of another child, whether someone is getting married, such as your son-in-law, daughter-in-law, your parent maybe, then sometimes that is celebrated. I know I didn't celebrate when my father got married to my many years ago, my stepmother. That marriage lasted 6 months. So even as a child, I knew that wasn't going to work. But I digress. I want to say, and I want people to hear me when I say this, when we start bringing up expanding in the topic, in the practice of polygyny, people get a little scared. They're fearful, they don't like it, they get in their emotions, all types of things happen. We're grown, you do what you want to do. But if you want your marriage to work, if you want polygyny to work, then the distance that's created has to be something that maybe needs to happen, but not intentionally happening because you've divided yourselves into teams and not a family. A family can't work when everyone that's in it is not being helpful. It'll become dysfunctional. The division creates dysfunction. It does. And it's not going to happen overnight. Nobody's saying snap your fingers and then you have this utopia and this beautiful family that's so good at communicating and accepting one another. Nobody's saying that. But with work and healthy intention, it can work. It can be a family. It can be a safe space for polygyny to thrive and not just you existing or surviving it. Because when you feel as though you're surviving your marriage, you start to get into survival mode. And when you start to get in survival mode in your marriage, guess who can feel it? Your spouse. And if you're a man in polygyny and you feel like you're just surviving polygyny, your wives feel like you're in survival mode. You'll still get complaints, you'll still get backlash, heartache, heartbreak. You might get a couple hugs in between. Who knows? But you still feel it and they feel it as well because we're connected and we're people. Now, I had to bring that up because let's do away with the teams. As soon as I'll give you an example. I had somebody in the comments say, oh, I'm Team Fatimah. I welcome Team OPR. That's what I welcome. When it's Team Fatimah, I know that some people are just trying to be agreeable or pay me a compliment, and I appreciate the effort. However, I specifically, and along with the rest of OPR, I specifically did not like to see the hashtag Team Fatimah. Because in it, whether the person knew it or not, it creates a division. It creates this thing where we do teams. Another example, my co-wife and I were doing a live. This had to be almost 2 years ago. And someone in the comments, they said, they're in the live comments now. We can see the comments, right? They said, oh, Coach Fatimah looks so beautiful today. I will never forget this because I was proud of another supporter of OPR. And the sister said, we're not going to do that, guys. They both look beautiful today. Because, see, it's starting. The division was starting. So one of our very beloved supporters, she stepped in before I could because I was about to. And you guys know how I do. I was about to say, no, we're not going to do that, because then it creates this division. And then people that are new to the channel or new to us or don't know our story, whatever the case may be, it's giving them the wrong impression that we've even created a division. And that's just not what we do here. It's not healthy. Our children watch our videos. They watch us in real time, in real life. And what we're not going to create is an environment that is dysfunctional for my family or for the OPR supporters, for the viewer. It's just, they got enough voices saying, you know what, let's create this, or I feel this way, that you don't need help creating negative energy or negative comments. Shaitan will help you with that. And if you all don't know who that is, that's Satan, for those of you that don't know. But for the people that are in the comments or that are watching this that are Muslim, you all know Shaitan. He doesn't get tired of whispering the negative. So we're going to do our best at not creating that division for ourselves, because the world is already there with it. So no team this one, no team that one. If it's Team OPR, Team Polygyny, Team Monogamy, pro morals, Team pro morals, whatever the case may be, but the team this wife or that wife or team initial wife or team subsequent wife, we don't need to do that. We're team wives, We're team marriage. We're team plural marriage. We're team healthy relationships. Okay? So I had to just say that because I've been asked, someone brought it to me, they brought it in the comments and everything. There's no separation. There shouldn't be division unless your husband or the wives are trying to create peace before they come together possibly. But they're still being cordial and respectful to one another. You know, sometimes you need to get somewhere, shut up, go to your neutral corner and not say anything until you can say something or provide something of value and encouragement or tell your experience without or with the absence of disrespect. Now, if you're not there yet, we get it. I love growth because it's ongoing. But so if a husband says, well, no, not yet, because he's seeing both sides, or if co-wives are not feeling it just yet, that's fine. It's okay. These are best practices for best results. You take your time, but we're not going to be disrespectful and create division within the family because you're still the same family. And sometimes you have distance because of geography. You live in two different countries or two different cities. You know, there's not a cookie cutter way to practice it. It's whatever works for your family that is happy, helpful, productive, and that's going to help everyone involved. Not just the husband is in the middle and he's just doing everything to his detriment. And then everybody will go, well, I don't know what happened to him. He was just taking care of everything. You know, our husbands can only do so much because they're only one man. And I always say this, they're men among other men. So they need help too. And sometimes you're the unlikely source of so much help. Even the littlest bit of help and aid and assistance can lighten the load. I don't care if it's cracking an egg. I don't care if it's saying take a nap. Maybe having a hard conversation with your co-wife. I know y'all like that. Went from 0 to 60 real fast. Anywho, but you get my drift. But the creation of distance in a family doesn't serve the family. Especially when you're in the same city. Especially when you both want to have a conversation. Especially when you want to help your husband. Especially when you want to help yourself or your children see the positive side of polygyny. There might not be a lot of positive influences. There might not be tons of positive stories in polygyny, but why don't we start with ourselves? We can create that. We can be that next success story in polygyny. Just remember that. But that starts when you do the work that you need to do on yourself as well and not stand in judgment of everyone else. So with that, you guys just remember that do your work on you first. And if other people benefit from it, including yourself, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Because when you make polygyny easier on others, you also making it easier on yourself as well. So keep that in mind. I'm going to leave you guys with a little GLC. But before I do, make sure you're commenting, liking, and subscribing to our channel and hit that notification bell if you want to learn more about outstanding personal relationships and what we have to offer. Make sure that you go visit us at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/store for more details. Now, I'll give you a little GLC. Make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. I'm Coach Fatimah. I'll see you all in the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.